Foundations of Mindfulness. Please pay attention. We have been following the instructions that the Buddha gave in the sutta called Satipatthana, or the sutta about the 4 foundations of mindfulness, which covers all human activities. Human lives or human ways of conduct can be divided into 4, the realm of body, the realm of feeling, the realm of thought, and the realm of mind objects. There are a lot of details concerning these 4 aspects of a human being. Our bodies have experienced a lot of things, we have felt a lot of feelings, encountered various kinds of thoughts, and faced a lot of mind objects or mental impressions. No matter what happens to the body or to the physical form, with mindfulness we can understand the fundamental truth, or the fundamental nature that underlies the activities of the body. Mindfulness gives us insight into the nature of the body. The underlying nature, the fundamental law, that governs the physical realm is what we call, the 3 common characteristics, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and no self. Feelings are also subject to the 3 common characteristics. Every kind of feeling, whether it results from contact with the eyes, with the ears, with the nose, with the tongue, with body, or with mind, is subject to these 3 common characteristics. Ultimately, feelings have no self. We cannot take them to be a self or a person. If we do not understand the reality of feelings, we will be their slave. We will try to struggle for the pleasant feelings, we will try our best to protect whatever can give us pleasant feelings. A lot of people are busy possessing objects that provide them with pleasant feelings, but they will ultimately find that they cannot keep them all the time. They are subject to change, to vanish. The Buddha always stresses that a feeling is not self, it is not the person, it is not the individual, so do not take it to be a person or self. Worldly beings who do not practice cannot understand what the Buddha said, but we will be able to understand if we practice hard enough. During the past few days we have been here, we may not have attained this insight yet, but it is within our capacity to see, to understand, and to have insight into the nature of feelings. We should understand mind or mental formations too. Thoughts, or mental impressions, are very important because if we are not aware of our thoughts they will give rise to anger, hatred, and delusion. They will give rise to pleasure, pain, sorrow, happiness, and a lot of conventions. Law, rules, regulations, and all sorts of things will come into play and your thoughts will proliferate without end. Thus we should learn to understand the thinking process. Can we see thoughts? Can we know the thoughts that arise in our minds? Do we follow the thoughts or do we just know them, just be aware of them? Do we suffer because of thoughts or do they make us happy? Can we see how thoughts are not self? Are we able to see them as void or empty of self? If we understand and see the thoughts that arise in our minds, thoughts are no big deal. We will become their master. But if we do not know the thoughts in our minds, they will control our lives, they will be our masters. To practice mindfulness meditation, we start by cultivating awareness of our bodies. We start at this point and then we become aware of feelings. Once we are confident enough to be aware of body and feelings, we will then go to the next step of being aware of our thoughts. We cannot jump directly to awareness of our thoughts, because we need to be skillful enough or it will cause us trouble. Our mindfulness should be cultivated and it has to start from an awareness of the body and our feelings. Once our mindfulness is developed enough, we will proceed further to train ourselves to be aware of our minds. We have to know the former step thoroughly first. If we ignore the awareness of the body, and jump to the step of mental awareness, we will become easily lost in our thoughts. To handle our thoughts and mental impressions, we need to know their weak points. It is as thought we are going to handle a snake. Snakes are harmful, but the skillful person who knows their weak point can capture them without getting hurt. It is like handling an elephant. Elephants are very big and strong, much stronger than human beings, but if we know their weak point we can capture and harness them. Whatever strength it has, however powerful it is, it does not matter because we know how to handle it. The same goes for our relationship with our minds and our thoughts. We have to know the weak point of our thoughts, then we will understand and will be able to handle them. We should know what their source is and how they are conditioned. With this knowledge, thoughts will not be harmful anymore. Keep knowing your body and mind. Stay only with the knowing, and do not do other than this. Stay firmly with knowing, and knowingness will bring about a change to your mind. We need not do anything to the mind or even the thoughts, but just pay attention to our awareness, the knowingness. Luangpor Teean compared unintentional thoughts to a rat and mindfulness to a cat. For ordinary people, the rat is very big while mindfulness is very small, the cat is very small. If you want the cat to get rid of the rat, you have to feed the cat properly, so that it will grow bigger and bigger until it can catch the rat. So what is the food for the cat, or mindfulness? We have to feed mindfulness with endurance, with diligence, and with constant effort to cultivate our mindfulness. They will develop our mindfulness, and mindfulness will do its duty on its own, handling, replacing, or removing the thoughts from our minds. We do not need to do anything with the thoughts. Just allow your mindfulness to grow and mindfulness will do its job. So, try to be firm on this principle. Does it sound difficult? Now let's talk about the fourth category, mind objects. There are two kinds of mind objects. One belongs to the realm of wholesomeness, and the other, unwholesomeness. Wholesomeness will enable us to be skillful, to be wise, and to be intelligent. It keeps our minds normal, stable, and unmoved by pleasure or pain. The unwholesomeness mind object, the second kind of mind object, always brings trouble to us. It creates a lot of suffering, and it turns one's mind to hell, to be animal-like, or to be a ghost. So, this is what we should be aware of. If we understand these four aspects of reality, body, feeling, thoughts, and mind objects, we have already covered all aspects of a human being, and our study is completed. So try to be familiar with these four realms of our lives, and learn to cultivate awareness of body and mind, of thought and of mind objects. Once we finish such study, our minds will become the noble life, the life that is harmful neither to ourselves nor to other people. It is called noble. Noble means harmless. Do not become stuck in doubt, in uncertainty. I can assure you that all kinds of sufferings, defilement, and unwholesomeness, are born out of our ignorance of the nature of body and mind, and strengthened by it. Once we have attained insight into body, feeling, mind, and mind objects, these four aspects, our lives should be liberated. What I have learned, and have not learned much, I learned about these four aspects of life or reality. And, Luangpor Teean did not teach much, he only taught these. Once I understand these, I no longer need the master. I no longer search for or seek any master. My study has been finished, my search finished, and now I do not need master anymore. Now I have no fear at all. I have confidence in myself because I do not teach for fame, for wealth, for material gain, or for any reward. I just want to help people to understand themselves, and to realize the truth. What I have said are just words, but it is not what I have memorized from any texts. I have not much learning, but what I share with you is from my direct experience, from my own realizations. That is why I am confident speaking and sharing with you. That is all. Please regard all of us as brothers and sisters. The Buddha is the father, Dhamma is the mother, and Sangha is the brothers and sisters. Question: how does one know it is time for him to tackle with thoughts? Answer: you are ready to see the thoughts once you can know a thought, when a thought arises and you are aware of it, and you are not dragged by thoughts? If you are still being dragged by thoughts, leave them behind and just pay attention to body and feeling. It is like learning a language. In the beginning, we have to learn from a teacher, and the teacher has to start from A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D, or the language, is still something out there, but once we internalize it, we become one with the language, and we are skillful enough to use the language. The same is true of the practice. We need to practice until we become confident enough that it becomes our habit. When a thought arises, you are immediately aware of it, and can handle it properly. The more we are confident, the more we are able to handle or to control our minds. Finally, awareness will lead us out of suffering. If we still become lost in our thoughts and are still moved by them, still get happy or suffer because of them, it is not time yet. Anyway, for beginners, the first step of practice is not to keep knowing the thoughts. Please be aware of the body first. Once you are competent enough, it is okay to go ahead to the next step of mental awareness. Question: how do you get rid of drowsiness during the practice? Answer: it is natural to get drowsy. Everybody has to face this problem and overcome it. Otherwise, it will become an obstacle to the progress of meditation. Drowsiness is caused by the laziness of your mind. We should activate it. Try to give our mind a job to do. Pay attention to external things, so that it becomes activated again, or change your posture, or feel the vibration of your body. When I started the practice, I kept a bucket of water near me. When I felt drowsy, I used the water to wake me up. When it didn't work, I just put my head into the bucket to wake myself up. Do not close your eyes. Do not yawn, close your mouth and resist yawning. Make your movements stronger, smile, refresh yourself, and feel confident and courageous. Defeat it and subdue it. There are 5 hindrances that obstruct us from making progress in our spiritual activities. The first one is drowsiness, the second is restlessness or agitation, the third is doubt, the fourth is sensual desire, and the last is ill will or hatred. Drowsiness is like indolence, restlessness is like mischief, naughty, or stubborn, doubt has a nature of no self-determination or no resolution. These are the 3 dominant qualities of the mind during our progress. What the Buddha said is already in ourselves. He taught our reality. Question: on the conventional level, we have a saying, follow your heart, not your mind. Answer: it is the wholesomeness in our mind and in our hearts that tell us what we should do. We should transform anger to compassion, suffering to happiness, and agitation to peacefulness. It is wisdom that tells us what to do. If we know this is good or this is bad, if we know this is harmful or this is not, we do what is good and unharmful. I do not know whether you call it heart or mind. Just follow it. Question: just follow it and act on it? So it will not create any cause and effect? Answer: oh, sure, if it is a good cause, if one is mindful, if it is not harmful to oneself and others, it is a good karma. If it is harmful to oneself and to others, that is a bad karma, a bad deed. Question: should we just follow the middle path, if we are not sure whether it is a good cause or not? Just sort of ignore it and not act upon it? Answer: don't worry whether it is from mind or from heart. If you know it is harmful, avoid it. If it is good, act on it. We do not know, and we do not have such an expression in Thai, at least not one that is popular among the Buddhist monks. We often follow the heart and create a lot of problems. It is a different cultural orientation. Question: how does mindfulness work? Answer: you will realize it after you see it very often. You will realize, oh, it is like this. It is a matter of how frequently you see it. Avoid thinking, analyzing, or reasoning. Watch your body until your mindfulness is developed enough, and your mindfulness will be like a fire alarm, a smoke detector. The smoke detector never watches or keeps looking for smoke, but once it detects even a small amount of smoke, the alarm goes off. Mindfulness is like that. You will be aware of even a small portion of thought that arises automatically, without intention. So allow mindfulness to work on its own, do not order it or command it. Mindfulness works like that. Question: can you comment on psychic power, miracle, or New Age? Answer: if it happens and you become attached to it, there is the problem, but if you just see it and let it go, or if you are just aware of it, that is good. But normally people are attached to it. They want something special, but psychic power is not the real miracle. The real miracle, according to the Buddha, is the ability to be aware. When you sit and know that you are sitting, that is the supreme miracle according to the Buddha. Psychic power is the result of concentration, not awareness. If you have strong concentration, then your mind becomes powerful. Monks or people who practice mindfulness meditation seldom attain this power, but it is a shortcut to enlightenment, because you are unlikely to be distracted by psychic power, so you go ahead. Otherwise, you see flowers, you see shopping centers, you make visits, and then progress is delayed, but the delay is enjoyable. As for New Age, do not pay attention to things out there. They are just technology. If you enjoy technology, such as computers, it may seem like progress to you and you may enjoy spending whole day with the computer. You are better in terms of power over technology, but you are not any wiser than other people. Technomania, the same mentality for those who are interested in psychic power in Buddhism, leads to suffering. June 13, 1997. Lifetime practice. We have already studied the sacred Buddhist texts, especially the text on the four foundations of mindfulness. We practice through our experience, which is in reality the sacred text that is already in ourselves. With our practice, we have investigated into the text which is the experience in ourselves. We have investigated or trained ourselves to be aware of body, feeling, mind, or thoughts, and mind objects, the key points in this sacred Buddhist text. How can we see them? We see these four phenomena through mindfulness. With mindfulness, we are able to understand the reality of these four aspects. We have to cultivate mindfulness or awareness in order to see these four aspects of reality, otherwise, we cannot have understanding. We cannot know body, feeling, thoughts, and mind objects with intellect, nor through reasoning or analytical mind. The only way is to realize, to experience ourselves, then the realization will arise. We have explored the realms of the body, feelings, mind, and mind objects. In fact, there are many details in the realms of body, feeling, thoughts, and mind objects. The more we practice, the more we experience the reality of these four realms, the more we are familiar with the sacred Buddhist text. Keep trying. Keep practicing, so that you will be familiar with awareness, and gain an understanding of the nature of body and mind, of the condition of body, and of the activities of body and mind. You will achieve insight into body and mind, and will have a thorough understanding of body and mind. If you reach that point, you will have already finished the study of this text, this sutra, and you will be able to handle feelings properly. Feelings are everywhere, but I would like you to be stable like stones. Stones are here, stones are there, stones are everywhere, in Thailand, and in America. Stones are the symbol of stability, of constancy, of normality. So, if you handle feelings properly, and know not to be moved by whatever feeling it may be, or whatever feeling you may experience, your mind will be normal and constant, not getting high or low because of feelings, pleasant or unpleasant. If we do not know the nature of feelings clearly, we are going to be their servants. We will run after feelings, struggles for pleasant feelings and run away from unpleasant ones. Feelings, especially pleasant feelings, can lead to war. They bring a lot of consequences. Our lives will be dependent on pursuing pleasant feelings. That is why suffering arises. So, please understand feelings properly. Everyone has body and mind, and we have to stay with body and mind. We also all share the same feelings and mental impressions. They are present in all of us. If we understand body, mind, feelings, mental impressions, and mind objects, we will understand each other, we will realize that everybody is one, the same. So this sacred text can be applied universally. The Buddha has already laid out the formula to understand human beings, to understand ourselves. So, please try to learn the sutra, this text, through our practice in cultivating awareness and mindfulness. If we know this reality thoroughly, completely, our search for the meaning of life is complete. We have already graduated, there will be no need to study anymore. We get high or low, depressed or happy, feel pleasure or pain. We are up and down because of feelings or emotions, because we take them to be substantial, to be a person. We make them personal because we do not understand the real nature of these mental impressions. Somebody may feel, during the practice, that they are tired. But if you understand mental impressions clearly, you would rather say, tiredness is present in me, not, I am tired. We do not take tiredness to be ourselves or to be a person. So please develop an observer in your mind, within yourself. Just see the feeling, acknowledge it, notice it, don't identify with it, and you will learn how to be free of it. So, keep looking into yourself, keep observing, keep seeing, and you will be free, will see, will understand its real nature. If you see it frequently, the truth of body and mind will reveal itself for us to see. Actually, the truth reveals itself at every moment, but since we do not know how to see it, we miss it. There are a lot of consequences of not understanding the truth of body and mind. Defilement, anger, hatred, delusion, selfishness, and suffering, are all results of our inability to see body and mind properly. So, it is very important to learn seeing body and mind, to be aware of body and mind. Thought, or the thinking process, influences our speech and our conduct. Thus produces a lot of consequences and affect people in various ways, from one person to another, forming chain reactions. So, simply put, thoughts can produce a lot of consequences. But if we see the thoughts and understand their nature, they will not have as much influence or consequences. Unintentional thoughts cannot last if you see them, if you are aware of them they are not substantial. Once we are aware of them, they just fade away, so do not think they are substantial. Just be aware of them. They cannot produce consequences. A thought has no end, it is always concocting reality. If we do not know the way of the thought it will start another one and another, without end. There is a story of a dog in a monastery. Sitting under the staircase, the dog saw a monk returning from the alms round with food. It thought the monk very lucky because he could get food easily. After finishing his breakfast, the monk gave the leftovers to the dog. The dog had the idea that being a dog is even better, it can have food easily without having to go through the village. But after a while, a monastery boy beat the dog and the dog changed its mind, I would like to be the boy because he can beat the dog, he is superior to the dog. After the boy went to sleep, a fly buzzed over him, and the boy made a fuss trying to get rid of the fly without success. So, the dog thought being a fly would be better because he could disturb the boy, and the boy would not be able to get rid of it. A while later, though, the fly flew to the dog's mouth, so the dog just stretched his tongue out and caught the fly. He finally realized that to be a dog is better because he could overcome the fly. This is the concocting mind, the power of compounded thinking without end. We change our minds all the time. In a thought itself, there is truth, the truth of the thought, the cause of suffering as well as the cause of happiness, the truth of the way, the suffering, and the way out of suffering, the truth of attachment and the truth of detachment. Thought is not a self, it is subject to condition. You have to understand that thoughts are created by conditional factors. They cannot exist alone. So we have to understand the conditions that produce the thoughts. All kinds of truths about suffering and the cessation of suffering can be learned, can be known within the truth itself. Truth is not a self. It is a condition. You have to understand. The Buddha said to Sariputta, that things and existence are produced by causes. They are governed by the law of causality. If you want to extinguish this, you have to get rid of that, because that is the cause of this. This is the law of causality, the law of dependent origination. So, if thoughts are subject to this law, they have causes and sources. If we want to get rid of an undesirable thought, we need not suppress it or eliminate it, but we should trace it back to where it came from, and then deal with it. Buddha achieved victory because he knew how to deal with the cause of suffering. So, to understand the underlying cause of thoughts, we need to develop awareness. Our awareness should be totally developed, full awareness. The way that the Buddha mentioned in many sermons, including the first sermon, was formalized and laid out in the text of the Four Foundations of Mindfulness. The way that he mentioned is important. If you follow that way, you will learn how to realize the truth properly. The nature of all existence is subject to impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and no self. If you do not understand this, you will get high in pleasant feelings, and get low in unpleasant feelings. Life cannot always be pleasant, you will sometimes suffer. Our minds are moved up and down. But if we know all objects, all feelings, and do not take them to be substantial, do not identify ourselves with them, they can neither harm us nor disturb our minds. This is what I would like to stress. The retreat is not over as long as we have breath or are alive. We need to practice as long as body and mind exist with us. As long as we still have feelings and emotions, we need to continue our practice. To give you an idea that we are not alone, anything happens to us, noise, voice, people, sight and sound, taste and smell, from surroundings, have involved our lives. We have to learn to deal with all sorts of things properly, so that we will not suffer. June 14, 1997. Buddhist meditation in a nutshell. I would like to talk about the problems of meditation. They are problems that we all share: drowsiness, pain, tiredness, and exhaustion. These problems are quite normal for the practitioner. We have all experienced the same kind of problems. The only duty we have is to be mindful in every moment and in every situation. Whether you are drowsy, tired, or feel pain, try to be mindful in that situation, meaning you are not disturbed by these problems. Do not regard them as obstacles, but take them as experiences that enrich your practice. Because skillful practitioners have to learn how to deal with various kinds of experiences. Do not try to find answers in the intellect or in your brain, or try to investigate into the thoughts, or make reasons for what you have experienced. Just feel. Just stay aware. The practice of awareness will bring you insight or wisdom. It is the wisdom that is not the result of intellect or rationalization, but of repeated practice. This kind of wisdom enables you to understand the nature of reality. And the practitioner who concentrates on this kind of practice, will obtain wisdom in return. This is what we call wisdom resulting from practice, not from intellect or from memorization. There are 4 kinds of objects that you should be aware of. The first is the body. The second is the feeling or sensation: coldness, heat, happiness, suffering. These are all in the realm of sensation. The third is thoughts, and the 4th kind of object is what we call mind objects. Mind objects mean the states of the mind or mental qualities. They include 5 hindrances: sensual desire, ill will, sloth, anxiety and doubt, and 7 factors of enlightenment: mindfulness, truth investigation, effort, zest, calmness, concentration and equanimity. Be it a wholesome or unwholesome object, just be aware of it. So train yourself to be aware of these 4 objects over and over. If you are not mindful, the body will bring you suffering and a lot of problems, feelings will create a lot of problems for you, as will thoughts and mind objects. So, it is crucial for us to be mindful with respect to body, feelings, mind, and the mind object. And this will give you insight. The more you are aware, the closer you are to insight. That is why we call this practice insight meditation, the meditation that brings you insight. The first level of the enlightened one is called Sotapanna. It means one who has entered the stream of enlightenment. The first level of the enlightened one is one who is free from or lets go of the first three fetters. The first one is a false view of person or false view of self. It means the view that this body belongs to me. This body is me, this body is myself. You take this body as me or mine, or take me as being in the body, or take body as being in myself. You take this body as substantial. But, if you attain insight into body and mind from this method of meditation, you can liberate yourself from this false view of self. The second fetter is uncertainty, skeptical doubt. Once you have realized the true nature of body and mind, you achieve insight or wisdom, and you have no doubts about the practice or about the proper way of meditating. The third fetter is attachment to form, to rituals, to legalities, or to the rules. This practice is good, is correct, that practice is not good, not correct. This rule is okay, that rule is not okay. This etiquette is good, that etiquette is bad. These are what we call attachment to the rules and rituals. If we see the true nature of all things clearly and achieve insight of the true nature of all things, we will be able to go beyond this concept of right or wrong. The objective of insight meditation is not to gain psychic power of telepathy, to penetrate anyone's mind, to fly in the air, or to go underground. Those are not the objects of meditation. The objective of Buddhist meditation is to have total awareness of body, of feelings, of mind, and of mind objects. Such awareness will give rise to insight. The first step of insight is the insight into body and mind. With this insight you know without doubt what body is, what mind is, what the nature of body is, what the nature of mind is, what the disease of body is, what the disease of mind is, what causes suffering to the body, what causes suffering to the mind. This is the insight into body and mind. And once you achieve this insight, your practice will go on to the next step of the practice, learning to be aware of thoughts. In the beginning, as I suggested a few days ago, you should just be aware of your body. Do not mind your thoughts. Just leave whatever thoughts arise behind. But once you get insight into body and mind, you have to practice the second stage of being aware of your thoughts. Yet, to be aware of your thoughts does not mean that you have to investigate them. Just see them, register them, and then turn your attention to the practice of body movement. Do not bargain or negotiate with your thoughts, not try to find the motive or reason behind them, do not ask yourself why you have such thoughts, why your thoughts are unwholesome. Not at all. Just be aware of them and come back to the practice. From this second step of practice, another kind of insight will take place. With this insight, you can go straight. The truth will reveal itself and you will see things clearly without using analytical thinking. You just see it and understand it. So, it is as if you go straight without interruption. Once you achieve a certain kind of insight, you will be able to look back and see what you have already passed. I would compare it with my walk here from the pond. I just go straight from the pond to this hall, and when I turn back I can clearly see everything that I have passed. This is the state of the mind that gets you insight. Is it difficult to understand? This practice, which develops mindfulness, is the practice that includes all kinds of training. In Buddhism we have three kinds of training. We call it threefold training: training in higher morality, training in higher concentration, training in higher wisdom. With this practice you will go through the threefold training because with mindfulness you observe morality, mindfulness also gives rise to concentration, and later wisdom arises from the practice. Once you achieve the insight that I mentioned, you will have no doubts about evil or goodness, and you will have no doubt about religion, what Buddhism is. You will have no doubts because it is clear to you, and there is no need to ask yourself what you have achieved. It is as if you take breakfast or lunch. Once you are full, you know you are full. You do not need more food. It is a realization nobody needs to confirm for you. You can confirm it for yourself. It is all right or good for you to experience drowsiness, frustration, and anxiety, because they help you learn. They come for you to see them, and the more you see them the more you will understand, just as the more often I see you the more I know you. I cannot mistake anybody for you. Once these mental qualities appear to you, do not be lost in them. Try to see them, do not identify with them, but see them, observe them. And the more you see them, the less likely they are to disturb you. They will gradually fade away. July 8, 1997. Insight Meditation. It's time to give a talk to complement your practice. We are practicing meditation to develop mindfulness, according to the system that the Buddha developed. This system of practice was not invented by Luangpor Teean or by anybody else, but was developed thousands of years ago by the Buddha. It is called insight meditation or Vipassana meditation. It is different from the calmness meditation, that was developed even before the time of the Buddha. The primary aim is to develop insight through mindfulness. The mindfulness that we experience or have already developed, is the same mindfulness that the Buddha experienced. And the body that we are going to be aware of, is not different from the one that the Buddha used as an object of meditation. The feelings or the sensations that we need to be aware of are also the same that the Buddha meditated on. And all the hindrances that we encounter, be it anxiety, uncertainty, indolence, anger or sensual desire, are also the same that the Buddha faced and overcame. So, what we do is not far from what the Buddha did or experienced. There are two objects that we have to be aware of, body and mind. That which moves is body. The hand's movement is the body's movement. That which receives sense impressions or that which think is the mind. The primary objective is to enable us to be aware of the body in the beginning. This practice enables us to be aware of every moment, every movement we make, either in our daily lives or in the formal practice as we are doing now. Sometimes we take this body as mine. We take our thoughts to be my thoughts, to be myself, or to belong to myself. These are misperceptions, or false views. We should take the body as body, mind as the mind, and nothing beyond that. The body follows the laws of nature. It has its own nature. The body is also subject to change. It has feelings. Do not take feelings or physical sensations as self or as substantial. They are just the condition of the body, just the feeling of the body. The same applies to the mind. There are many kinds of mental states: anger, drowsiness, anxiety, happiness, suffering, etc. These are not the real nature of the mind. They are just the activities of the mind or the conditions of the mind. The nature of the mind itself is peaceful and radiant. Again, do not take the negative emotions as the nature of mind. They are just the conditions of the mind. Please differentiate between these two aspects, nature and conditions or activities. If you have this understanding, the understanding of the nature and conditions of body and mind, you have already achieved insight into the reality of body and mind. When we develop mindfulness, it enables us to see and to be aware of body as body, feeling as feeling, mind as mind, and do not take them to be selves, to be ourselves, to be me, or to be mine. When anger, anxiety, or suffering arises, please see them as they really are. Recognize that suffering is present in me, but I am not suffering. Anger is present in me, but I am not angry. Drowsiness arises in me, but I am not drowsy. Try to see or to be aware like this. Do not take any emotion as yourself or belonging to you. Just take it or see it as it is. That is the proper attitude to have. When you practice mindfulness to a certain point, you will have this insight into body and mind, and the truth of body and mind will reveal itself. What is the nature of body? What is the nature of mind? What is the suffering of body? What is the suffering of mind? What is the cause of physical suffering? What is the cause of mental suffering? These are the truths that will reveal themselves when you attain a certain level of insight, and these will reduce your suffering. You have to look. You have to be aware. Then, insight will occur. If you are lost in thoughts or emotions, you cannot see, cannot understand the nature of mind. If you take this body as self or as belonging to you, you will not be able to understand the real nature of your body. So please keep knowing, and being aware of whatever happens to your mind and body. Do not identify yourself with thoughts, feelings, or emotions. Just see them. When you are aware, you will realize that the mind is impermanent, it is subject to suffering, and it is not self. The same goes for the body. The body is impermanent, it is subject to suffering, and it is not self. These are the insights, the results of awareness. Can you understand? The noise disturbs us, but sound is just sound. Do not bother with it. Don't be disturbed by noise. Just accept it. That's the way it is. Do not let it have an effect on you. The state of awareness is very important. It is the path. It is the fundamental of holy life. It is the whole of the training. In Buddhism we have three aspects of training, or threefold training: training in higher morality, sila; training in higher concentration, samadhi; training in higher wisdom, panya. If you practice mindfulness, you have already undergone this threefold training. Awareness enables you to be free from thoughts, free from mental states. It enables you to let go of these elements. And if you achieve the full awareness, you will be free from birth, aging, sickness, and death. You will no longer be disturbed by them. Mindfulness is the instrument to get rid of attachment, to let go of attachment, attachment to body or form, attachment to feelings, attachment to perceptions, attachment to mental volition, or attachment to consciousness. These 5 kinds of attachment, or attachment of 5 aggregates, will be dissolved by the power of awareness. The Buddha once said that attachment to the 5 aggregates, form, feeling, perception, mental volition, and consciousness, is suffering. It is the cause of suffering. So if you are able to let go of the attachment to the 5 aggregates, suffering cannot exist. That's why the Buddha calls it the supreme victory, the victory of letting go of these attachments. For this to be possible, you need to have full awareness, total mindfulness, which will enable you to see the way things really are, and to understand the nature and the conditions of things. The nature of things is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and no self. The conditions of things are subject to change. Pleasant, unpleasant, agreeable, disagreeable, content or discontent, these are the conditions of things that keep changing. They are not reality. What I told you is the truth, the Dhamma, it is not a fiction or an invention. And this state of insight is not beyond your reach. It is in your capacity to attain the truth, to realize the truth. Keep practicing. Develop awareness as much as possible. Do not waste your time on thoughts or on the thinking process. Just practice. Do not dwell on your thoughts. That's all for today. July 9, 1997. A handful of Buddhism. We are learning to practice meditation. The purpose of meditation is to develop awareness and mindfulness. The more we exercise awareness, the more we develop it. It will become present in our bodies, and our minds will become familiar with our bodies because of mindfulness. Try to make your mind familiar with your body, so that it will be with your body. People are differentiated by their actions, karma. Karma is the determining factor that differentiates all of us. If we practice mindfulness, it is the action that can determine our lives and have an effect on us. Keep practicing mindfulness. If we practice enough and properly, it already includes the training in higher morality, the training in higher concentration, and the training in higher wisdom, or what we call, the threefold training. There are many things that keep us from being aware, and keep us from knowing. There are sensations, or feelings. If we are caught up in feelings, our mind is turned from ourselves or from the body, and we do not experience awareness. Unintentional thoughts also keep us from being aware. Be they good thoughts or bad thoughts, if we are distracted by them, awareness disappears and we cannot create the desirable karma of practicing awareness. So try to turn your mind away from those feelings and thoughts. Do not become distracted or disturbed by them. If you become aware and keep knowing your body, you will realize later that the unintentional thoughts are like the garbage. They are undesirable and we are no longer tempted by them as before. We do not refuse or reject feelings or thoughts, but we are not to be caught up in any of them. Mindfulness enables us to be aware of these feelings and thoughts, and mindfulness enables us to bring the mind back to the body's movement. We keep knowing, keep being aware, and keep returning our attention to our bodies, rather than being lost in our feelings, emotions, or thoughts. These will give rise to insight. We will see clearly that the unintentional thoughts are garbage that cannot trick us anymore. Formerly we may have enjoyed thinking the thoughts, falling into them, getting caught up in them. But once we see them as garbage, we feel ashamed of ourselves, and we no longer want to bother with them. This is the insight that you can achieve from thoughts themselves. They give you this lesson. When thoughts arise, just be aware of them. And I myself, as I told you yesterday, have been caught up in thoughts for many years, never aware of how they determined my life. But one day I was suddenly aware, I suddenly understood. I suddenly bumped into a thought, saw it face to face, and finally overcame it. My thoughts could not tempt me or trick me anymore. This was the decisive victory. Before that, I was the slave of my thoughts which concocted greed, hatred, and delusion. With thoughts, greed, hatred, and delusion arise. A lot of thoughts become the consequence of those defilements. Once I understood and saw the thought clearly, I became its master. The thoughts cannot be my master anymore. This is the insight, the result of accumulated awareness. The four categories, body, feelings, mind or thoughts, and mind objects, keep coming into our lives. We experience all of them. During practice, they keep coming, keep arising, and keep disturbing our minds. We do not know how to deal with them because we do not have enough mindfulness. But if our mindfulness is strong enough, they just come for us to learn and see their nature clearly, to see that they are temporary states of mind. There are two kinds of nature, the nature of body and mind, and the conditional state of body and mind. These are the two aspects of body and mind that we can realize, that we can understand. Later we can see where thoughts come from. Where are they? What is their source or origin? What is their stronghold? We can know it all. We will also be able to know the three characteristics, impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and no self. We will know what they are, and we see everything in terms of them. This insight is possible because of the mindfulness that we keep developing. Everything that we experience can be put into two realms, body and mind. It is all related to these two realms, body and mind, and no more than that. When we are aware of the body and mind, we can see the two aspects that I mentioned earlier, the true nature of body and mind, and the conditional or the temporary state of body and mind. For example, feelings, whatever they are, heat or cold, pleasure or pain, happiness or suffering, these are not the true nature of body and mind. They are just the temporary states or conditions that keep changing. This reality or insight will reveal itself. These are the insights that keep coming to the mind. Be attentive to your practice. Do not bother with the practice of other people, looking to see how they practice, or how long they practice, or how well they practice. Don't worry about whether you yourself are practicing rightly or wrongly. Just keep knowing. Just maintain awareness. Just stay mindful. All your problems will be solved on their own. After you have progressed to a certain extent, you will find that many problems just disappear on their own, like drowsiness or scattered thoughts, etc. Mindfulness is the only fundamental of the practice. Just stay firm with mindfulness or awareness. There is no more than that. With mindfulness, the factors in codependent origination can come to their end. When you have contact with the world and have feelings, they will not produce defilement or any consequences. They just stop there if you have mindfulness. But if you do not have mindfulness, they will produce other factors. So just let the progress of codependent origination stop at the stage of feeling, and there will be nothing more. Once insight into body and mind arises, delusions appear, and the truth will reveal itself. After you have insight into body and mind, another insight will result, the understanding of conventional reality and the ultimate truth. With that, greed, hatred and delusion are reduced. You achieve insight into the three common characteristics of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and no self. Again, this will reduce greed, hatred, and delusion dramatically. These are the results of the practice. They are the insights that will occur on their own. That's why I always say that the practice of mindfulness is the perfect formula of meditation. It is perfect in every step, every stage of the practice. There is no more than that. All virtues, all teachings are included in the practice of mindfulness. Be it training in higher morality, training in higher concentration, training in higher wisdom, compassion, loving kindness, generosity, endurance, etc. These are all virtues that you have already practiced through mindfulness meditation. In fact, the key teachings or the key virtues, according to Buddhism, are just a few, just a handful. July 11, 1997. Letting go. What we are doing now is following our Master, the Supreme Master, the Buddha, who developed this meditation a long time ago. He used his body and mind as the text or scripture for studying the Dhamma through cultivating awareness of the body and mind. Apart from the body, we should also be aware of feelings, thoughts, and mind objects. Mind and body are like a sutra that covers a lot of subjects, a lot of knowledge that we should know. We are able to learn about heaven, hell, happiness, suffering, morality, concentration, and wisdom, from our body and mind through awareness cultivation. The causes of disturbances and problems in this world are in the realm of body and mind. On the other hand, the cause of peacefulness and happiness can also be found in the realm of body and mind. I need not explain more about this, but I would like to talk about the practice. The practice can be done by cultivating awareness of the body. Please try whatever techniques that can be used for awareness cultivation. Actually, what Luangpor Teean taught is very up to date, never obsolete, very modernized, and suitable for the modern age. This method is a universal one because everybody has body and mind. All of us have the same properties, regardless of nationality, language, race, gender, etc. We all have the same properties of body and mind. Just try to breathe in and breathe out with awareness. When you breathe in, be aware of that in breath, when you breathe out, be aware of that out breath. And we will become one. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's try breathing in and breathing out. If we have awareness, all of us will become one. Otherwise, we are different people, behaving differently in our own way. Awareness, mindfulness, or the breath, are all things we already have, so they are not difficult to practice. The awareness of breath and the awareness of the body's movement are the same. So how can we achieve awareness? Nothing can keep us from cultivating awareness. The only factor is ourselves. If we practice, awareness can be developed, it depends on us. We have already done many things, chantings, devotions, offerings, performing merits, studying scriptures, etc. Another thing that we should do is practice meditation. What Zhuangyan Monastery has done is to follow the path of the Buddha, encouraging people to practice meditation. Although not many people are interested, it is a good activity. Other Buddhist practices such as offering food to the monks, offering materials to the temples, observing the precepts, or studying the texts, are not lacking in society. What we lack is awareness. We have problems regarding the body and mind. We suffer because of body and mind. Greed, hatred, and delusion arise because we do not know how to deal with body and mind properly. For example, delusion occurs when the eyes or ears make contact with a sight or sound, and we are not aware. When you have awareness, forgetfulness and delusion just disappear. They are opposites. When awareness arises, the forgetfulness cannot stand. It just disappears. I would like to ask all of us, which, up till now in our lives, has been more powerful, awareness or forgetfulness? It is not difficult for awareness to arise if we start counting on ourselves. Buddhism starts from the individual, transforming the individual first. You need not change the environment or to ask the environment to change at the outset. So if you keep cultivating awareness, you will find the answers to your problems by yourself. The truth about body and mind will no longer exist. I would like to speak briefly for your benefit. We need to let go of everything regarding the mind. Regarding the body, we should learn how to reduce physical suffering and treat it properly. In other words, mental suffering can be reduced by letting go, but physical or bodily suffering has to be reduced by treatment. For instance, when it is hot you have to stay in the shelter and so on, because it is the physical suffering, but if it is mental suffering, you have to let it go. I would just like to encourage you to practice. This temple is a suitable place for teaching and practicing meditation. I like this place very much. We can practice or walk without mosquitoes. In my temple in Thailand, when I moved hand, I have to keep the mosquitoes away, but here it's very easy. So it is a suitable place that provides a good environment for practice. I do not know whether you benefit from this place or not, but I myself benefit a lot. My health is much better and I also have good ideas. 3 years ago, I had interesting ideas, and I put the talks into a small booklet about the Dhamma. Since my talk has to be translated, it can't be continual because I have to pause for the translation. So I only say about 50% of what I would like to. If I were to speak in my dialect I could continue my talk more easily, but that's okay, do not take it seriously. It's better to have a question and answer session. I have to go tomorrow, so this is your last chance. Question: what should I do when I have no thought during the practice, and what should I do when I am aware of my body's movements but all kinds of thoughts arise simultaneously? Answer: what you should do is be aware of the thoughts that arise, that's all. When no thoughts arise, just be aware of your body's movements. When I practice, sometimes I lose my sense of self, but when it seems that I myself have disappeared, I just touch myself to regain my sense of self. Question: with awareness, one may attain the state of no self or even reach the level of arahant. Is the eradication of the 10 fetters that an arahant should achieve, before he reaches enlightenment also possible through awareness? Answer: awareness gives rise to higher morality, higher concentration, and higher wisdom. So, the threefold training is already incorporated in the act of awareness. It depends on how much awareness we have. If the awareness is strong, it can get rid of the fetters one by one. So it depends on how strong the awareness is. The more powerful it is, the more likely it is that it can overcome or dissolve the fetters. Question: how do we enhance the changing conditions of our bodies and minds with awareness during our practice? For instance, what do we do if the mind becomes neutral? Answer: a neutral state of the mind means that the mind is ready to be happy or suffer. Just be aware of that neutral state. If it transforms into a pleasant feeling, just be aware of it. If it becomes an unpleasant feeling, just be aware of it. At the same time, if there is no thought, just recognize that there is no thought. When a thought arises, just be aware of it. You need not do anything with your mind or make it move from that state. Just practice and be aware of your body's movements, that's all. Question: is there any difference between the awareness that we are developing, and the awareness of the Buddha? Answer: they are the same. If you develop awareness to a certain point, your mind will be at the level of sustained observance, constant awareness. It is a sustained awareness, keep seeing and keep knowing all the time. This state of sustained awareness will include morality, concentration, and wisdom, and it will also enable you to see the cause of suffering. This state of awareness will lead to the cessation of suffering. So, this is the state of Buddhahood. The awareness of the Buddha is the awareness that enabled him to see the Four Noble Truths: suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path to the cessation of suffering. If you achieve the state of sustained awareness, the practice is over, you have already reached the end of the practice. I would like to encourage you to practice and train yourself to deal with mind and body properly. For example, when anger arises in your mind, just know it. Just be aware of it. Do not become lost in it or identify with it. The same applies to sufferings and even happiness. Just see it, be aware of it, do not get caught up in it. This will enable you to transcend the world. You will still live in the world and interact with people, but you will be above the influence of the world. Question: is it alright to use wisdom to penetrate greed that comes on very strong and repeatedly, instead of just being aware of it as Luangpor suggested? Answer: it is alright for you to penetrate it like that. In fact, awareness itself can be transformed into an act of penetration. If you penetrate, you can see how impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless greed is. Yes, it is alright. Greed is the desire to have more. If you work and get $7 an hour, you want more, $10 or $15. That is greed. But if you work and get money in return, say $7, and just concentrate on the work you do, that is not greed. Greed is a desire that arises in the mind, not the act of working to earn your living. July 12, 1997.
May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease.